How the News Travels, or The Shimmer That Radiates the Word, an artist's book commissioned to mark the 70th anniversary of the Nordic Summer University, funded by the Nordic Council. The project was conceived by myself, David Arms, and I invited 3 other artists, all of whom work with letterpress printing and artist books, and all of whom have links to Denmark, to join me: Luise, Valentiner, Jørgen Hansen, and Megan Adie. The Nordic Summer University is a collection of academics, researchers, artists, and other individuals from institutions around the Nordic countries who come together once a year to discuss their work in a series of study circles that are themed. The commission was to respond to the Nordic Summer University's history, its values, and its archive, which is held at the Rigsarkivet, the Danish National Archives in Copenhagen. The archive there consists of the university's publications, its newsletters, its programme of events and study circles for each year, and a whole series of background papers, letters, budgets, and other ephemera. As well as the archive, the other major starting point for this work was actually the press that I use in my studio. It's a 1956 Eickhoff 1BS built in Copenhagen. When I acquired the press, I discovered the pages of a Danish newspaper called Dagbladet had been used as packing underneath the cylinder. The newspaper was from 1980, which, give or take a few years, is roughly halfway in the lifespan of the Nordic Summer University. So it was a good starting point for examining and comparing some of the stories and themes and histories. Each artist was invited to respond to the archive, the university's history, and the newspaper stories in their own way. And the pages of the book will now follow with a few commentaries. The Nordic Summer University mainly consists of around 10 study circles. Around 1980, the period we were looking at, those study circles included technological history, social and labour market policies, evolutionary studies, social utopias, and many more. These study circles are what Jørgen Hansen is responding to graphically in this page. One of the most interesting study circles to me was one that looked at social utopias, and in 1980 that study circle featured a presentation by a researcher who'd been looking at Sami culture. And this insert on this page features the 4 primary ways of living or values of Sami culture. The quote from the university's values here reads, "The university must build bridges between the light of the scholars and the lives of the people." This centre spread is really where I brought together all of my research about the university and combined and integrated it with stories from Dagbladet newspaper. I paired together quotes from the university's publications and study circles with stories from the newspaper. So, for example, the word free in this context reimburses for spiritual freedom. You've come almost nowhere, though you see the problem. And to me that line is a neat summary of the university and its values and its work, looking at the world around us and critiquing it and seeing how we could make it better. The University Archive in Copenhagen is made up of a vast amount of papers and files. The nature of this paper ephemera is what Megan Adie is responding to here on this page, as well as her understanding of the social utopia study circle and her feelings about groups that people can be included or excluded from. The finished artist book was presented at the 70th anniversary event of the Nordic Summer University in 2020. It's an edition of 30 in total, and copies have been going into archives and institutions across the Nordic countries. There's a handful of copies left for donation to appropriate institutions, so if you're interested, please make contact via redplatepress.com. Thanks for looking and listening.